Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our podcast.
And today we're covering a little anime called Tada Never Falls in Love. What kind of name is that? Okay, it sounds like it should be a bad ending.
Yes. Well, this original anime was created and produced by the same animation company that made Monthly Girls Nozaki Kun. And it really shows. It follows the seemingly slice-of-life adventures of high schooler Tada and ends up meeting with the new exchange student Tersa. And slowly but surely a romance blooms between them. And every character is reminiscent of Nozaki Kun.
Yes.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications with the future podcasts and all the past videos.
Thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting, everything you do. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes. So
Rascal found this.
Yes, and this was actually suggested on Twitter, X, wherever you want to call the site, and we were tagged in it as a suggestion because the person that posted it became a fan of it. It was a fan of Nozaki Kun as well, and liked that it had a similar vibe to it. And it took us a while to get to this because you could not watch this anywhere other than High Dive. Mm-hmm. So we finally did our trial, and when we did, we found the show again on there after like a couple years, and we went to watch it. Mm-hmm. The first thing was everyone's just a Nozaki clone.
Yeah.
And the thing was, this is not based on a manga. This is not based on a light novel. This is not based off a game. This was their original product, but yet it still feels like something else.
Well, that's because it's done by the same animation studio that did Nozaki Kun. And either they took liberties or Isumi gave them permission. But I guess you guys will find out shortly.
Yes.
So for those of you not familiar with Tada Never Falls in Love, it's a Japanese romantic comedy anime TV series produced by Dova Kobo. And it aired back in 2018 with only 13 episodes, licensed in the U.S. by Sentai Filmworks and Muse Communication in South and Southeast Asia. It also was shown in Hong Kong and Taiwan. We learned on X that this is very popular and people love it as a romance more than a rom-com.
Yeah.
A light novel came out after it aired.
Okay.
Written by Nakamura Takado.
Really?
In June of 2018. Now, the anime itself ran from April 2018 to June. So they put out a light novel, kind of like Tiger and Bunny did after the first season for this anime.
Yeah, pretty much. And the episodes go by pretty quick, especially when it gets towards the end. And I think you are right in terms of the fans seeing it more as a romance than a rom-com, because really it is. It feels like the comedy part was added later. Not because there isn't humor in it, but because, well, it's supposed to be the same studio that does Nozaki Kun, and clearly they wanted to make sure it was different from that, even though it's the same company and very similar designs and same animation. But when you get down to it, the comedy is vastly different from Nozaki. Nozaki is really high-strung, crazy, wacky. It's still grounded in reality, but they act so crazy you would think there's something else surreal going on. Tada seems to keep it very, very grounded. And you were kind of waiting for something crazy to happen throughout some of these episodes. They start building up to something, but it stays very grounded in reality and doesn't really veer off towards going crazy comedy. It's just something fun to laugh at, but you don't laugh as much as you should, unfortunately. And I think that's why they take it more as the rom than the com part.
Very true. Now, interestingly, this anime has 9 producers.
9?
9.
Good grief.
I'm not sure why, but it does. And it was written by Yoshiko Nakamura. He was not one of the, this person was not one of the producers. And music by Yukari Hashimoto. I can say it looked very pretty. The music was very nice. And if you're just looking for something to watch that's a nice anime to pass the time, this does it for you.
Yeah.
It does have characters you end up liking as the series goes on. And it waits until almost the end of the anime to give you some heavy backstory on Tada and his sister.
Yeah, it does.
And Teresa hides her secret, but you figure it out within the first couple episodes.
Really? Yeah. Like, why did they ever make a reveal?
And for the most part, again, it's enjoyable. But it's not the type of anime to stand out and be talked about a lot. And that's not a bad thing. There are a lot of anime out there that are rom-coms or just romances or comedies that you enjoy, but don't make, I would say, an impression upon the audience at large. And it ends up with its own audience,
right,
or cult following. And this is one of them. It has a dedicated audience of people who love it because it's pretty to look at.
Yes,
the characters are likable, and it's very slice of life. And a lot of them like Tada, and they like that it has a happy ending.
Yeah. And you can tell that, as you say, every character is really more or less modeled after a Nozaki character. Tada himself is Nozaki.
Yeah.
And Teresa is a...
But not as anal retentive.
Right. And Teresa is a foreign version of Chio. And as you go through the cast, you can tell what characters they took from Nozaki Kun and made into these new ones. The only one that seemed to be their own character was a class president for a photography club. And he definitely is different from everybody else in this show and Nozaki. And like, you could almost expect a crossover with both shows just because of how similar they were.
So how it starts off is Tada's taking pictures. He ends up meeting Teresa. Then he finds out later that she's a transfer student from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
She has a girl that sticks with her. You can tell they're not friends in the terms of where they're equals, but her companion ends up being her bodyguard. And you figure it out from their conversation that she's royalty.
Right. Pretty much. Of course we gotta go that route.
She never tells them. She disappears and leaves and moves all the furniture and everything out and never tells them anything. Tada finds out in the most unusual way. We won't spoil it for you.
Right.
And then he goes to Luxembourg to let her know how he feels before she gets married to a prince.
Yes. And yes, it really goes all the way to those more known tropes. And in all seriousness, this is probably why some people didn't get a bigger grasp on it outside of its fan base, because Nozaki really didn't have any tragedies or drama or sad plot twists. They had some things thrown out of proportion and stuff. They over exaggerate. It makes it feel like it's the end of the world, but it really isn't. Tada actually takes a lot of stuff seriously by the time it gets to the end, as you said, with the backstory and Teresa, and thinking that their relationship could never work or happen. And that's when they start actually making it completely serious, like a regular romance. And I think that's probably why people see it more as a romance than a rom-com.
And another two things for me is, one, it moved too fast. 13 episodes, it moved too fast.
Yeah.
There's no character building. You really didn't get to know anyone. You really didn't get to see much of Teresa's life. You mainly focused on Tada and his friends.
Yeah, surprisingly. I guess I know his name's in the title, but you would think you get more.
And then Alexandra, there was a lot to know about her. The bodyguard, you really never learned much about her.
Yeah.
And we think it probably should have been 26 instead of 13 episodes.
To fully flesh out everybody and build up this arc. Yeah.
And answer a lot of questions that just were never answered by the end of this anime.
Right. I will say the funniest, most hilarious part of this entire anime was an episode focusing on Tada's cat, their family cat, Yanko Big. And to say that because you see this really Garfield-like cat kind of walking around the cafe. He kind of does what he wants. And he's always hissing at people he doesn't like. It's only pretty people he sits down for, which is funny. And then they gave an entire episode to Yanko Big, and he can talk to the audience. Well, I guess you hear him in his head like Garfield. And it's the funniest episode of the whole thing because he thinks he's Mr. Big Shot. He patrols the cafe in the neighborhood. He has his own little mini adventure. And he's got this deep voice like he's some bouncer. And it's hilarious. And we just say, this is the best episode of the entire series. And they never do it again.
No.
And like, why? This was great.
Yes. Also, what I do like is you find out that Tada's friends are his friends.
Yes.
Which was pleasant because sometimes you end up finding out someone's betrayal and someone really doesn't like someone or they hate each other or some other stuff. And also he and his sister care about each other and love each other. And yeah, they have their brother-sister relationship, disagreements, whatever, but they love each other and that was great. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is learning that Tersa really wasn't as cold as you thought she was when she left. Mm-hmm. But again, you had to wait until the end of the anime to find that out.
Right. And that would be, like you said, one of the not many, literally just a mini flaw. Yeah. As in it's really small. And that's all you can really point out for the show because, as you said, it's so short. Mm-hmm. And all those episodes up until maybe the last 3 or 4 are focused on the little silly slice of life adventures. And then you get the backstory on like the last few episodes and trying to build up all this stuff and this drama and emotion. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. And because there's very little else to this anime, whether added or in detail, like, oh, they added so much detail in just 13 episodes. Unfortunately, that's not the route they went either. Mm-hmm. Aside from the Nozaki comparisons, and like you said, light novel made after it, there's not much else people really say much about the anime itself. And it's not the fault of it's boring or lazy. It's just that you wanted more. And we've seen shows where they have 13 episodes and they jam-packed with so much detail. Every time you watch, you find something new. Tada, unfortunately, does not have that. It has rewatch value, but not as much excitement as you would the first time.
Now, critics, some said it has a bright and peppy feel.
It does,
the visuals are marvel, but the character and gag writing aren't well. Again, these are critics, not our opinions. Some don't like the episodes where the guys are guys. And they look at women in bikinis, which is silly because it's just fun, and I think that's part of the silliness that has come over from Nozaki Kun.
And it's anime, and they did that in that show too. It was anime.
And some love Yonko Big episode as much as we do.
Yes.
But it didn't really get a lot of talk and attention, and that's too bad because we would have liked to have known about it and watched it before now.
Right.
It's like a palette, a Nozaki Kun palette of characters that are being shared.
Yes,
we don't know if Zumi gave them permission. We assume she did because they're so similar that she would probably sue if she hadn't given permission.
Exactly, because it's like this is getting close to plagiarism. If they hadn't added those extra things with her being an exchange student and the royalty thing, it probably would have almost been the same show. They're not as crazy as the other characters too. Sure. You have 2 crazy ones. The rest are pretty mild and they have their little quirks, but they're fairly normal characters.
So let's go over the characters and the English voice cast quickly.
Yep.
As Matsuyoshi Tada, you have Jesse James Grell.
Yes.
And you like Tada.
Yeah, you do.
There's nothing not to like about him. Again, he's just a toned down version of Nozaki, meaning Nozaki's anal retentive and very strange.
Right.
And he's a more mild-mannered, calm, everyman version of him. Teresa Wagner, voiced by Sarah Whitenheft. Mm-hmm. And she seems really nice. She seems really sweet. You are upset when she leaves with Alexandra, Marguerite, voiced by Avery Smith-Hart, because you don't know why she didn't tell him and you don't like it. Alexandra has known her for a while. She's been her bodyguard since childhood, and you find out she's in love with the prince that Teresa's supposed to marry.
Yeah.
You have Kaoru Ujin, voiced by Mike Haimoto. Hajime Sugimoto, voiced by Scott Gibbs. He's the president of the photography club, and he's an idiot because the girl he likes is a model.
Yes!
And it's obvious that it's the same person.
And
But for some reason, they think if you change her hair color when she models,
yeah,
and you don't know why,
right,
that you can't tell the difference.
Right, and they're kind of play on Seo and Wakamatsu just with visually instead of hearing her.
Absolutely. You have Hinako Hasegawa, voiced by Shanae Moore. Kentaro Yamashita, voiced by Howard Wayne. Mm-hmm. And he's nicknamed Yamashita Dog.
Yeah, because he acts like a Pomeranian.
Yes. And Tada, his sister, voiced by Savannah Menzel. Charles DeLois, voiced by Ian Sinclair, and that's the prince she's supposed to marry.
Right.
And he ends up being likable as well. He's not a trope, and that was good.
Yes, we did like he was not a jerk and very professional and not the bitter rival. We're glad they didn't go that route.
And then you have Yonko Big, also known as Kitty Big.
Yeah.
With 2 voice actors, Kyle Jones, and then Jovan Jackson, who's the voice in his heart.
Oh my! In his heart!
He was adopted 10 years ago, and he was this cute little kitty. Now he's this big kitty.
They fed him very well.
And he's such a good part of the comedy in here. And as you said, that one dedicated episode, you really wish they had done more than one, or the cat had gotten more prominence in the anime. Yes. If they had gone longer, he probably would have.
Yes.
So, if you've seen Tada Never Falls in Love, let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you think it was just okay or meh? Did you find it very similar to Nozaki Kun if you are familiar with Nozaki Kun?
Right.
Let us know in the comments. If you haven't, again, it's only available on High Dive.
Yeah.
You can't see it anywhere else, and I think that affects the spread of the knowledge of it as well.
Yep, not even on Crunchyroll.
But if you get a chance to watch it, go ahead, come back, and tell us what you think.
If you haven't already, subscribe for updates and movie reviews for the anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. Subscribing, guys, as always. You are special.
Thanks so much for watching Master Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
Rivers and streams, plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.